Hello everyone. This is going to be a very short video around Snowflake SQL capabilities and how seamlessly it is adapting all the SQL and advancements, I will say, and as they say, right, it is making all the complex things very simpler for all of us, right? Now, if you see this, I have created a table called as orders, right? Against it, I am having various line of business, right? iPhone, iPad, AirPods, Apple Watch, right? And I'm getting orders across 1, 2, 3 channels, and the orders come in various quantity. So if I need to have a view on what is the maximum count of orders against each of the line of business, I would say, and what is the minimum kind of quantity of orders against each line of business, then how would I construct my query? Now traditionally I would have to like queries like this, right, wherein I will have to compare each column and then identify the minimum and maximum value and populate them against max order quantity and mean order quantity against each of this line of business, I would say. Now if you see this, I'm doing the same thing. I'm comparing column 1 online against retail, same online against reseller, right, and again retail with reseller, and again likewise my comparison is done. And if I execute this query, what will happen is I'll get the output which obviously I want, right? If you see this against iPhone, if my values are 10, 20, 30, the maximum value is 30, minimum is 10, right? Likewise, iPad 100, 250 and 30. So maximum is 250, minimum is 30. But if you see this SQL is so complex to write, and imagine if your use case just scales, then you would really have to think a lot in terms of writing, these very complex SQLs. So how does, how can we simplify it? So to simplify it, we just have to use greatest and least functions, okay, within Snowflake, right? So if I execute it, right, same thing I'll be getting, right? Okay, just by using greatest and least functions, I just have to put in those columns which I was comparing under the case when statements of SQL, right? Now if I execute this particular query, I am going to get the same output. If you see this, against iPhone I got the maximum as 30, minimum as 10, and likewise iPad 250 and 30, right? Now this is all good, right? Let's kind of introduce some more complexities, right? Imagine I'm gonna have some null values also. Now take an example. I have inserted this particular record called as MacBook. You don't see MacBook over here, right? And then I am introducing nulls. So remember, nulls are not comparable, okay? So if you compare null with anything else, then that entire line item becomes a null for you, right? Now how do we mitigate this scenario? Now if I see my raw data, how does it looks like now? Okay, let's see it. So I should be having something as null, right? Now see, MacBook order quantity online is null. Now if I maybe just run this function, then probably what will happen is, if you see that line item, you will under see max and min, you got nulls, right? Snowflake even handles this, right? How do you do that? So if you, instead of greatest and least, you start using greatest ignore nulls, least ignore nulls, right? Now if you use this function, what will happen is your nulls will be ignored and rest of the columns will be considered in your calculation field, and accordingly you will get your max and min value. If you see this under MacBook, I get maximum as 90, minimum as 40. I hope this video was helpful, and as usual, Snowflake is making all the developers, engineers, the entire data team's life very simpler with introduction of all these advanced SQL capabilities. Thank you so much for watching this video.